Alright, welcome back. So in the last video I showed you how I started giving you ideas on how we can look at analysing the data we were collecting from the over 1.5 goal strategy. This one I'm going to take it a little bit further because A, we've got a little bit more data, and B, we can use that data to try and find out other ways of analysing it. So this sheet here you're looking at is just an export of all the data that I've currently got for this strategy. So I've set the strategy to over. It's not a strategy. It's the not. That's a selection. Sorry, the strategy is along here at the right. There, that's a strategy there. So that's our Betfair Bot Manager strategy name. So we just filter by that. If you don't know how to export the data, have a look at the last video in this series. It'll show you how to export the data and add these 3 columns here with the result, which is W or an L, whether it won, whether it lost, because I use that in the pivot tables, and so the last video went through how to do a pivot table. So I'm not going to show you that today. I'm just going to show you the results. Also, we need to add the country code and competition into the view as well, so we can export that because that's quite important. So in the last video then we did do it by competition and country, so I've done the same here. So this is the updated results. If I go down to the bottom of here to the very bottom, eventually, you can see we've got 1,313 games, so 1,313. We've won 1,028 and we've lost 285. And we're actually £8.47 down, so we're running at a loss, which I don't think overall is too bad. We've put 1,300 bets on. We've put £1 on every bet. So to be just £8 down is not bad, although it is still a loss at the end of the day. And we've risked £1,313, although we would never expect to lose all those games. It would be quite impossible to do so, I think. Well, not impossible, but it would be very, well, you can see the odds there. Okay, so I'm going to go through a few of these numbers. I'm just going to go back to the top and just going to highlight a few things we can look at. So you can see, so just going through the table then, if I click on it, I'll show you what I've done. In the rows, we've got country code and competition. In the columns, we've got values, and in the values, we've got the count of the results. That's just the number of bets, basically. We've got the count of the sum of the wins, which is the number we've won, the sum of the losses, which is the number we've lost, and then the sum of the profit and loss, which is the monetary. This is the pound and pence value of what we've won. So there you can see in Argentina then, across all competitions in Argentina, we've won £5.15. So that's, if you wanted to just look at country, we could say, okay, then we'll include Argentina, for example, in our strategy. And by the same example, if we look at the next one down, which is Austria, that's running at minus £4.98, then we would exclude Austria. You can see the number of bets in Argentina has been 37, the number in Austria has been 24. So there's a few. Still not a great amount. I'm going to keep building this up for the remainder of the season, I think, and so we'll have the figures for the end of the season. So it'll show for the whole of 23-24 season, the numbers for each country and each competition. So you could just do it by country. You've got the option then to go down by competition within the country, because you can see even within Argentina, these bottom two have been running at losses, albeit we've only had 2 bets on that one. Oh, sorry, that bottom one isn't a loss, it's a positive. It's just this one that's lost, so we could go to the extent of excluding the Argentinian Super League Cup. However, there's only been 9 bets. I kind of want to try and do this only on bets where I've had at least 10, and even 10's not a great deal when you think about it. But you can see here in the Primera B National League, we've had 20 bets. We've won 14, we've lost 6, which isn't the best percentage, but we're £1.55 up. Excuse me. By the same token here, you can see we've had 11 bets on this league. We've won 9 and lost 2, which is a better percentage than this year, but we're actually 22 pence down. The reason for that must be because these bets here have had a better price, and these ones have had a worse price. And one thing you can do within pivot tables in Excel, and I'll show you that now, is you can double click these numbers. So if you want to drill down and look at those 20 or these 14 or these 6, you can just double click on it. So if I click on this 20 here, it breaks out a new sheet, just gives it a new name. And here's the 20 bets here, and you can see the odds going down here. They're all like, for some reason, they're all kind of 1.4 onwards, which to me shows good value. It looks like even though there's a odds-on favourite to win the game, there's still maybe because it's an Argentinian league and the South American games are typical for having less goals in the games, the odds are quite high. Whereas if we go and do the same thing for that Austrian set of figures, when I find it, I'll go back to the right sheet. If we look at these 11 Austrian games where we've won 9 and lost 2 and we're 22 pence down. So we've only lost £2 there. So we've obviously only made £1.78, sorry. Get me maths right. We've only won £1.78 on these 9 games. So if I double click on those and get those 11 up, you can see the difference in the prices there. We've got 1.19, 1.2. There's nothing, the highest one there is 1.23. I think the lowest one on the other sheet was about 1.4. So that just goes to show the difference there. So I'll just delete these. I'll delete these 2 sheets because it's just going to make my Excel bigger. I'm trying to use a mouse pad here. I normally use a mouse, but I'm sitting here without. Right, so that gives you an idea of things we can look at here. Other things I was looking at when I dropped down here was whereby we've had like a clean sweep, and there's been more than like a double figure game. So we've had more than 10 bets and we've won them all. And you can see there's another 8 and 2. We've won 8 and lost 2, and we're 31 pence down. That's a Belgian league. You can go down here and analyse this until your heart's content. You can see there we've had 54 bets on the Brazilian leagues and we've only won 70 pence. I'd probably ditch most of them, to be honest, if not all of them. It's probably not even worth keeping the £2.5 one there. Don't know if there's any standouts here. I haven't really looked at the data. I'm just doing it ad hoc on the fly as I do this. So there's a nice one there, actually. So you've got the German league here. Oh, well, the German country. It's not the German league. The German country with all the different kind of leagues within that country. We've had 60 bets. We've won 54 and we've lost 6 and we're £4.22 up. So automatically there, if we included Argentina and Germany only, would be about 10 quid up. Whatever, I can't remember what Argentina was. And if we scale that from £1 bets to say £10 bets, we'd be winning if we just stayed on the Argentina and German leagues or countries. You could use the country code in BFBM Bot Manager. You can use the league identifiers. But then again, this one here, the German 3 league, I would put 11 bets on and we've won them all. And this junior, I'm assuming this is like some kind of junior league, junior Bundesliga, we've had 6 bets. Not lost any, but obviously there's only 6 bets. This is only 3. At the end of the day, this is only 11. But by the end of the season, hopefully this will show more information on what we can do. Because if we've got the whole information, we've got the whole data set for 23-24, there's no reason why it should be different the following year if we're including or excluding countries or leagues. So this gives you a good idea what are good countries, what are bad countries that we're getting performance at the moment. So one other thing I thought of, actually I'll show you a few of the other main leagues. Spain, there's £1.28 profits, so not great. Just looking at those, that league there, don't know what that is, but we've had 5 bets, we've only won 2, which is poor. La Liga, we've again won 8, lost 2, we're 134 up. So again, they must show better odds because we're actually up for that scenario of 8 and 2. It's probably higher because I think some of the Spanish games are pretty tight and not many goals. It's like the top teams. If you go down to the UK, then GB, we've had 167 bets, 131 wins, 36 losses, and we're 234 down. Now, you can go through all the separate leagues there, like the championships being we've won 10, lost 4, but we're £1.12 down. The Football League Cup 10-2. League One's been poor. We've won 5, lost 5. We're 334 down. I think League Two's been pretty poor as well. We've won 17. We've lost 6. £1.10 down. The non-league stuff looks okay at the minute. If you look at that starting there, going down to there, those 3 leagues there have produced a total of £5.65 profit. If you look down here, some of those highlighted cells is £5.65. Particularly the National League South has performed very well. We've had 14 bets and we've won all 14. We're £4.24 up. So that's the kind of thing you can look at and say, well, I'll do that. My idea here with this is now to create little subsets running in simulation of these. So I'll probably put those 3 non-league games into one strategy, the same strategies I've got for collecting all the data, but just specific for these 3 leagues. And then we'll see if the profit continues, and if it does, we can run that as a little strategy on its own as part of a big hour over 1.5 package, and we can exclude all the stuff that doesn't make a profit. Premier League's been okay and it's on its own, albeit again the odds mustn't be great because we only won 24 but we've won 11 and lost 1. I'm trying to just give you ideas here, food for thought on how you can do this and what you can do and how you can analyze the data. So going back to the initial, going back to the top here, then we'll just move on. My initial analysis on this 20 and this 11, where we had the higher odds here because we made a profit on winning 14 out of 20. On this one, we've won 9 out of 11, but we've made a loss. That's to do with the odds. So I thought it'd be a good idea to analyse by the odds we were getting. So I've done just that on this sheet here. So this sheet here is exactly another pivot table, but instead of looking at country and competition down here on the right, we are looking at the price that we got. So you can see here, I'll just go through, we've got the same values in this section here. So we've got the same columns over here. Look, this is the number of bets, this is the number of times we've won, this is the number of times we've lost, and this is the profit in pounds and pence. So you can see here we've put 1 bet on where the actual odds were 1.01. Oh, I need to see which game that is, sorry. Just for reference. So it was Denmark versus San Marino. So that was, you got odds of 1.01 for there being more than 1.5 goals. Because remember, we're not looking at the odds. Normally I probably wouldn't put that bet on because it's not even worth the risk putting £1 on that to win a penny back, because that's all you're getting back, a penny on your pound. But I was just curious to see which game that was. I'm trying to delete this sheet again, so it's not messing up at the bottom here. So we'll go back to pricing. So yeah, so there's 4 games where we've had 1.02, where we're getting 2 pence for the pound. Again, probably not worth it. But you can see here that the top 3 have all produced a profit, albeit very small and albeit more high. It's high risk because we've had no losses. There's only been 8 bets, and it's producing 18 pence profit. So if we go down, and then the next one, 1.04, we've had 1 loss, but we're 68 pence down. But we've had 8 wins. So that to me is a risky option. You've got to have, go into those. So you can see they're all 1.04, and there's the loser there. It was Eintracht Frankfurt versus Slovakia. I don't know what the score was, but it lost. And so it's not worth it. You're losing £1 there, and to get your pound back, you have to win 25 games, because you're getting 4p profit from each game that you win. So 25 games would be £1, and if you lose one, you lose £1. So to me, they're not worth getting on. So as we move down here, what I'm looking for then is, you can see all the negatives here. It's really bad for the low odds. If you remember, the games for the Argentina League were like 1.4 onwards. So I'm just going to drop down here a bit, and you can see here there's a £6 here, there's a £3 here, there's a minus 328 here, so it improves a bit here. What you can start doing here is you can start highlighting. Say we'll leave that minus £6, we'll leave that minus. So if we start highlighting here, and we'll go down, so we've got a +3 there and a -3. So you can see the bottom of the total at the bottom right, there's 61p profit down here. Let's say a sum there. That's the sum of the highlighted cells. And if you keep going down, and we're looking for a range, that's going to produce the highest profit. So up to £10 profit there if we put bets on between 1.23 and 1.26. And if we keep going, it drops because we've got a minus 4.72 there. Down a bit further. Yeah. So kind of there was a good spread where I've got £10 profit, just for those odds of 1.23 to 1.26. So that's something we could put into our Betfair Bot Manager rules to say, well, also I only want to bet on games where the odds for the over 1.5 goals is between 1.23 and 1.26. Because as you can see, that means we'll have put, so far we'll have put 178 bets on, and we would have won 151 of them, and we would have lost 27 of them, and we would have made a profit of £10 exactly, just with £1 stakes. If we go further down into where the range, I wanted to look further down where the range of the Argentinian games were, because they started at about 1.5. You can see quite a lot of positive numbers here. If we stop there, if we omit those two and we stop here at the 1.52 and we go up from there, all these are positive. That's a negative, but that's kind of cancelled out by the one above, so I'll take that in as well. And there, that range there gets us a sum of £14.91. So there could be an argument for creating a strategy that says, so along with the one above that done us £10 profit, we could create that strategy and monitor it going forward in simulation mode. And then we could look at this range as well, 1.42 through to 1.52, because obviously these numbers might not continue to go like this, because we might just be lucky, or the chance, or the variance, or whatever you want to call it, so far. But we need to see over a season's worth how it's going to be. And if we can get some little smaller ones, little sort of niche strategies built up that have we shown out the first 1,300 bets, that this strategy here would have made us a £14.91 profit. Not to say that we could lose all that in the next 1,300 bets, but that's so far with the 1,300 bets we've done, that's what it's made. So what I'll do is I'll analyze this data a bit further. I think I will do this one. I'll create a strategy for 1.42 to 1.52. I'll create the one that was the 10 quid up here, which was about 1.22 or 1.23, I think it was, to 1.26. And I'll create a couple of strategies for the countries and competitions. I'll do one that includes like Argentina and Germany going forward. It'll obviously only be from now going forward. I'll look down some of these and where we've had like 10 bets and won them, anything more than 10 bets and we've won them all. I'll probably put an inclusion strategy down. I'll probably do an exclude as well, where we've lost too many, and we can do an exclusion strategy to make sure that continues at the same pace of like losing. But I am gonna, it might be a bit overkill to do all that, because I am keeping this full data set going for the whole of the season, so we will still always be able to come in and have a look at the breakdown like this. So I'm hoping that's give you a bit of food for thought on this video. If anybody else has got any other suggestions on how we can analyze this data or look at it, and any ideas, the channel's all about sharing information to try and come up with profitable strategies with regards to Betfair Exchange anyway, and the exchanges. So if anybody has got anything they'd like to add, then please do so either in the comments or in the Discord server. And I hope that's give you a bit of thought and a bit of sort of motivation to go out and have a look yourself at certain things. And again, all this it doesn't cost you anything other than your Betfair Bot Manager subscription, because you can do all this without placing any bets. These are all just getting placed in simulation mode. This isn't real money I'm using here at the minute. I'm trying to bottom out a profitable strategy before I go into real mode. But like I say, the next step for me then is to create some of these smaller strategies, the isolated ones that have been making profit over the first 1,300 bets, and to run them in simulation mode. And if they prove profitable in simulation mode, then I'll be more than happy to move them into real mode on small stakes. Okay, thanks for watching. Gan Canny.